What's up, y'all? You know what time it is? It's about to be that time.
Did it work, guys? All right, successful test. Sort of worked. Right. Yeah, it on my end, it didn't automatically transition. It looked like you had to press a button. But yeah, so we did the reaction premiere, and then I was trying to set it up so that it would just automatically transition into this. But anyway, welcome to the Chapter 1104 discussion. This is... I mean, Oda's coming out of the woodwork in 2024 with heater after heater. And this one in particular started with... You watch the reaction. It started with Chuji getting married. Drop those Chujis in the chat if you got them. Goat. We need the Chuji honeymoon cover story. And because of Chuji, then we got some... You know, we'll get into the Kuma stuff. But let's sit in the joy and the presence of other Straw Hat members attacking the highest authority in the world. And not only just other members, 2 out of my 3 top favorite Straw Hats. Sanji and Frankie fans, we are eating. We're eating. This is us. See those Sanjis. See those Sanjis. I feel like I should have brought back the Frankie emoji for this one. Man. Super. I just love how, because Saturn can regenerate himself, Oda was pulling no punches with that radical beam. He was just like, yeah, this is going to just blast through somebody. And then it makes me sit there thinking like, okay, I'm not a power scaler, right? But if I had to power scale, where was this Frankie, or how strong were the other people that tanked these radical beams, right? Because didn't Sasaki like tank one too? But here it like blew an entire hole through Saturn. I don't know. Like, this is why the narrative always trumps like power scaling. But the I just really love that in the order of attacking celestial dragons in the crew, it was Luffy, Sanji, and Frankie. Yes. Shout out to Barry Motivated, super chatted and said, Chuji and Sanji cover story. Sanji and Frankie getting lickbacks on a Gorosei. Thank you for my gifts, Oda. Yes, Thank you for our gifts. This is a beautiful bounty that you have presented in front of us. What a lovely, lovely January gift. Oh man. And during the live stream, I saw Old Green Knees super chatted twice, and it was reminding us not to forget about Lucci, that he is also a threat. And I'm like, yeah. I think Oda needs to definitely in 1105 like go back and give us a little bit of an update on what's going on with Zoro over there.
You loyal.
Because whatever he's doing is a little underwhelming compared to what Sanji and Frankie just did. And I've always been against Sanji versus Kizaru, but it does kind of feel like that might happen now. And it seems like there's, probably going to be some sort of a stall tactic happening where Sanji and Frankie are going to be stalling for time until Luffy can get back into the fight. Which is, if that's the case, and then maybe even other Straw Hats get involved, then it kind of becomes like what I wanted Wano to be, which is basically like the fight against the Saiyans with, Goku like on his way back from Snake Way. Also, anybody that thought that Kizaru fed Luffy is kind of in the mud too. I mean, could it come out that he did help Luffy? Yeah, maybe. But right now, I think the top choice is Caribou. Like, he helped Luffy get food in Wano, so it's kind of the obvious choice, and I'm okay with leaning into that. Like, Caribou they don't know where Luffy is, so maybe he's inside Caribou, munching down on some swamp meat, just like he did in Wano.
Savage.
Shout out to Brandon King, who said the pose Kuma takes holding Bonnie is birth pose. What do you mean by birth pose? Like going back to Skypiea with an L? I'm confused, Brandon. I don't know what that... I don't...
Savage.
I'm gonna need more of an explanation there. Means the vert statue. The Skypiea statues. Can someone put that in general in the Discord? Because that's crazy. Like, I definitely did not make that connection, and I would love to see that. Old Green Knees said Sanji and Kizaru 2024. Ranky should have aimed for the head. Oh. Oh, man. You took it there. I got something for that, though.
No resurrections this time. All that for a drop of blood.
Red Hood 52, member for 12 months, said Goat Peace, 12 months. Waiting to see the cook up. Appreciate the loyalty. Cook up's going to be crazy. Now, reminder that 1105 will be the chapter anniversary of Saturn making his appearance in Egghead. As in, like, that was the chapter that we found out that he was on the way. So the next chapter, if Oda wanted to, do something crazy with Saturn, Like the cook up and the kick up in 1105 could be wild. K-Pro and Super Chat is pretty poetic, huh? Saturn's creation is the thing to put a stop to his rampage. How Frankenstein of Oda. I mean, he's pulling all the stops with all the, you know, different references in this arc. There's definitely been a lot of Frankenstein. Terminator, of course. You know, I'm ripping Terminator right now. And I mean, even a little bit of RoboCop. There was Total Recall. What else? You know, different anime and Japanese properties as well, like Mega Man, Godzilla, Tetsujin, Gigantor. There's so many. Oda wears all of his references right on his sleeve. Shout out to Irving in the chat. Ain't Me said, is Punk Records Buster Call proof? If not, is Vegapunk about to restart his brain? That's an interesting thought. I like the idea of Vegapunk, you know, creating something so powerful that it does withstand the Buster Call, or at least to a certain degree. I mean, the buildings he built ripped off Saturn's arm, right? So maybe they are Buster Call proof. You know, it's like I went back and I was looking at the pages. I was like, when did this arm get blown off? And the only logical thing is that it happened in the subsequent crashes into the buildings. Miles said Chuji mid diffs Hattori. I think you're gassing up Hattori a little bit. Like, don't discount Chuji. He's got the power of love on his side, and we know that the power of love is, you know, one of the greatest power sources in this series.
Another one.
Which is a pretty good transition, but I'll you know, we'll get into this Kuma stuff. Duran said, Caribou saw Luffy beat Kaido. He probably is a devout follower now. He tried to follow Luffy and Sabati too. Yeah, I think it's like, would I love if it was Robin or somebody else in the crew or anything? Yeah, like, let's lift our crew members up like we're doing in this chapter with Sanji and Frankie. But Caribou just makes the most sense. My life as a teenage robot. Shout out to GM by Blood for joining the channel, but at lavish bracket. So shout out. Lavish bracket. In a lavish bracket. Shout out to GM by Blood. I appreciate you. And big shout out. W's in the chat. K Pro N, big super chat, appreciate you. Said tinfoil. Kuma is gone. He's just an empty husk that's basically soaked in his one purpose in life, to protect Bonnie. Basically, he's an object that's soaked up in the will desire of its user, inherited will. Except this object has the ability to move and fight. So to a certain degree, that's something that I wanted to get into, like getting into this Kuma stuff, because one thing that I noticed while I was doing the read is just like Kuma still hasn't said anything. Like, I mean,
You loyal.
people who watched the reaction definitely caught me welling up at that part, and it's like, it really is one of the greatest. I mean, it sounds like hyperbole, like after everything that we had in 2023 and how much we were gassing everything up in the previous stream about, the top chapters of last year and everything like that. But
Savage.
I don't want to discount or discredit the hug and what Bonnie was saying to Kuma was so well done, so classic One Piece, and as far as like I mean, Oda got me. Like, I mean, the last time I really like had tears was like 903, feeling like the joy of Luffy being recognized as a Yonko. And then there had been like a lot of moments after that got me close, but I think the closest since then was that moment. I didn't let it out. I kept it in, but it almost got me there. And the thing is, it just, I really want Kuma to be in there. I really want him to be in there. And I kind of agree with you, K-Pro, where it's like, I don't know if he is. And that hurts. But, it's like, it's reminiscent of Kuma protecting the Sunny. Like, is there a part of Kuma in there? I don't know. But they completed an order that Kuma wanted. So it almost feels like, in the same vein that Kuma was, had one final order to protect Sunny, it's almost as if Kuma himself was able to program a protect Bonnie feature, as like a subset directive. And it could be a thing where if Kuma gets to see either Saturn or Kizaru go down, or Luffy really make a grand gesture protecting Bonnie or something, that Kuma would be able to kind of move on spiritually. Circuitry? I don't know. There's a lot to get into with that. Shout out to Old Green Knees. Appreciate you. Said, I've come to sell you conspiracy stocks, Captain. Big Mom is getting the Alvida Shinobu treatment in that lava. Hot Big Mom 2024. Think, Captain, think. Dude, that's wild. I don't know if Hot Big Mom will ever come back, in quotations. Because even when we had Skinny Big Mom in Whole Cake, Hunger Pang Skinny Big Mom, like, she wasn't dropping, double digits on the scorecards. I think those days are long past. But the Big Mom coming back stocks, I'm still all about that. I'm still all there. I'm still all in. This is said, if power of love is a major power source, Yasop weak as hell. Yeah. Oh no, I'm not ready to see Usopp. No. Keep this ship moving. What are we even doing in waters near my kid? GM by Bloods had been lurking a long time. Couldn't pass up on joining when a fellow dad has been experiencing these chapters. Much love. Thank you, GM. Appreciate you. W's in the chat for GM. This chapter, you know, no offense to the non-dads, no offense to the non-moms, like, this chapter was kind of for us. For the Kuma stuff. If you're just a Sanji fan or a Frankie fan, like, you're eating too. There's a lot if you're a Chuji stan, you're eating. There's a lot of things to eat, but like this Kuma stuff, like it really hit way differently just being a dad. It really did. Oh, that's right. Saeed said, Randy, don't forget, the Order of Straw Hats who hit Celestial Dragons goes Luffy, Usopp. That's right, because Usopp hit Roswald. I did forget about that. Luffy, Usopp, Sanji, and then Frankie. That's right. Although Usopp's attack, I think the reason why, I mean, he touched a Celestial Dragon. His hit was unintentional. Like, he just kind of fell on Roswald. And, you know, so it's still, yeah, I mean, we'll
You loyal.
but I mean, like, if we're talking about deliberate hits, yeah. You know, an honorable mention to Zoro, who almost killed Charlos, but was stopped by Bonnie. Ace 2532 said, if the hug made me tear up this much, then seeing it animated will break me. Will break me more than Mary's return and funeral. Also, Saturn seems to look at the spot he's regenerating, which is odd. Well, he did have like a glare thing, right? So are you suggesting that it's his eyes, like whatever he glares at, he has to look at what's broken to regenerate it? Let's take a look at that. Let me see. Okay, we're over at the Viz here. It's an interesting thought, but it's not. I feel like if Oda really wanted to sell that, he would have another panel of like Saturn's eyes. I'm not ruling it out, but one of his horns was broken too, so he's not really looking at that. Adjust your top 30s accordingly. Make sure that you have egghead buildings on your top 30. Because they messed that dude up. Mint Chocolate, member for 9 months, said, Randy, I have a goal I'm working towards, but you will always be my captain. By the way, Big Mom will upgrade Prometheus with Magma and get Pluton as a homie. Ooh. I like the Magma Prometheus. Pluton as a homie is wild. You're gassing, Big Mom. Crazy. Appreciate you, man. I support all goals. I'd be embarrassed to be a captain if I didn't. K-Pro N, W's in the chat.
Savage.
Appreciate you. Said big tinfoil. K-Pro N's coming with the lavish bracket activity today.
Lavish bracket. In a lavish bracket.
Saturn is a Zoan with above Logia regen. We have seen Logia lose limbs. Okay. Okay. I'm following. Or, now hear me out. The Gorosei are devil fruits personified. Something about how he said humans stood out to me. Maybe they used just science to combine powers. I mean, he's a man of science, right? Quote unquote. Man used the blender. But if they did combine fruits to get these abilities, then that's a scientific feat. I'm actually, until otherwise, I am actually inclined to think of the Gorosei as demons or gods or devils, something personified. Like, Oda will probably figure out some way to ground it a little bit, and they'll have been human at some point that lost their way. But Oda's so into mythology that I feel like this is our opportunity to deal with authorities that really enter like ethereal spaces. So I think whatever powers that they have, there were other gods, like Nika and so on and so forth. And that the devil fruits come from them. They are gifts from the gods. And we live in a world where the gods were either defeated, killed, or have, are just shunned the world now.
Savage.
But if it is science, then good on him. But yeah, the way that he refers to humans as insects, the way he's constantly talking about humans is crazy, and implying that he is in a different realm, in a different space than the humans. Ipsala Seaway said, what if he's using spider silk in a similar way that Doflamingo heals himself with strings? So if it was just the arm, I would be into that, but the horn is a little bit different. But I feel like spider silk has to come in some way. Like, maybe that's actually how he's been holding everybody down. Why they couldn't move. Ace2532 super chatted. Again, it said, appreciate you. It said, imagine Saturn is like Cell from Dragon Ball. The only way to kill him is through total annihilation of every cell. And what better method than the very Buster Call he just activated with Kuma holding him in place. I would actually love for a super radical beam. Like, that's the only way to do it. You really need like a super Kamehameha, like, to if he's Cell, you know. But I do feel like that's it, or like you need to aim for the head or something. Like, he has to have some sort of a weakness. And you know, it's crazy because if he can keep regenerating and they're as dangerous as they are, Oda's gonna have to turn our crew like legitimately into some murderers to save the world. Dizza said it has both the properties of rubber and gum. Yeah. Checks out. Super radical beam would be super hype. Yeah, I mean, let's gas up Frankie crazy, like the first person to kill a Gorosei. I mean, it was so wild when I saw like this man blew an entire hole into this man's chest. Like, that was insane. Shout out to my boy. Like, I feel so validated as a Frankie fan. I feel like we've been getting the short end of the stick for so long. Like, just one little feat. One little feat. But let's keep this going. I'd love to see him like actually pick up those light gloves and start boxing Kizaru too. Because it would actually be great if it was a situation where everybody wanted Sanji versus Kizaru, but nah, it's Frankie versus Kizaru and it's Sanji versus Saturn for a little bit until Luffy gets back. Like, now that's how you subvert expectations. That's how you do it. Let's get these likes up, people. There's a lot of people in here and not nearly as many likes. So, like, comment, subscribe if you're feeling the vibe. K-Pro N, appreciate you, said, yeah, that's around my train of thought. I gotta go, boss. Girl's been waiting to leave. Have a good day, homie. Hey, man, you gotta do your thing, all right? Enjoy your time. Enjoy your time with your girl.
Savage.
Appreciate you. Tom Ado said, will Frankie make a return this arc? You think he's out from that Kizaru kick? Nah, don't gas Kizaru like that. No. He was talking, he literally said, show me, like, what you've been doing. So if he was like, show me what you've been doing, and then the next panel is Frankie, like, I can't get up. Like, no. That's not showing me what you've been up to. That's a challenge. Okay? And you have to respond appropriately to a challenge, to challenges. Okay? That's how you respond. You show up, you show out. Considering that Frankie probably has the best drip out of all of these awful outfits, he's already showing out ahead of everybody else. Derek Miles said Paw Paw boosted Gao Cannon. I mean, Gao Cannon is literally a super radical beam. Can we let Saturn get hit by Gao Cannon? Like, I completely forgot about Gao Cannon. Like, now I need that to come back. I need that to come back. Mark said, Frankie boxing on Kizaru would make me truly ascend. I need it. I need it now. Old Green Knees super chat said, his power seems like a strength sap or a life steal, which is why they weren't working on inorganic Kuma. Hyped to see Kizaru not worried about collateral. That's why they weren't working on inorganic Kuma, and that it's hyped to see Kizaru not worried about collateral. Yeah, I mean, if you're doing a Buster Call, you're raising it all to the ground anyway, so Kizaru has like free reign to destroy everything, whether he wants to do it or not. I like the idea of it being a strength sap or a life steal, because I mean, it does look like it didn't really affect Kuma when he got hit, but it's still, since he got stabbed with the point of his leg, I feel like there's got to be some sort of poison coursing through him, even if he's mostly cybernetic now. Brandon said, wait, if Saturn gets hit by Gown Cannon, that's why Oda made Frankie's wanted poster the Sunny. That's wild. That's wild. Yeah, let me look at the Discord real quick. Interesting. Let's compare this. So this is from when they're at Angel Beach in Skypiea, and they're seeing the statue while they're being escorted by Conus right before they see the first God's judgment that comes down. I don't remember what chapter this is, but it's probably like 150. No, not 150. That would be the episode number 237, 238, something like that, probably. No, I'm a little off. It's 240. Something. $244. All right. Let's see, they go up to the statue. His face is weird. What's this? Is it a fur seal? It looks like a weird mud doll, but it's probably a religious figure. This is art, I can tell. That's Verth. It's the idol representing the eternal yearnings of the citizens who live in the sky. Huh? You guys yearn for that long? It's interesting. You know, I haven't gone back to this in a while, and Oda does spend a lot of time on this to the point where it would be really interesting if that actually did come back into the story. And I mean, Kuma holding Bonnie when Sanji is protecting Saturn. it is kind of a visual reference there. I mean, Kuma doesn't have like giant fangs like that, but I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if this was some sort of like Buccaneer god or something. And the other strange connection in this is that Sanji puts his hand on the glass of this statue, and he is also wearing a Hawaiian shirt and shorts like he is wearing. I mean, like, it's not... I'm going way deeper than I think it needs to be, but... There are a lot of, like, little visual things here. Miles thinks that Kizaru is doing a rougher version of Kuma paw-pawing people away to safety. First Sentomaru and now Frankie. I mean, that's an interesting takeaway. We'll have to see what the next chapter holds. It would be pretty fun if Kizaru was actually on an entirely different level than the rest of the Straw Hats still. But I don't know. Barry said Frankie's on Egghead, Vegapunk's Island. He's gonna shine this arc. Oh yes. Most definitely. Doron said that might be an important chapter with how much is going on in it. Yeah, I think that, you know, it's just you know, one of those things where when we start getting into the end game of everything, which, you know, realistically we are, everything with Skypiea is, I think, going to become even more relevant. These statues, historical figures, you know, the look back 400 years, the name dropping of different gods, all of that is stuff that was set up there, and it's finally starting to take shape. Alejandro Salas, member for 8 months, said Atlas is the MVP for carrying the best dad to safety. Yeah, I guess Atlas can stay. Atlas can, you know, whatever. Atlas is fine. Saeed said Frankie definitely shined when Kizaru kicked him. Savage.
It's about to get spicy.
So the Egghead incident is very much being presented as the Buster Call here, but it's I think it's going to be, you know, what else happens here. And this is also crazy because this is Robin's third Buster Call now. How much torture can we put this woman through? But a Buster Call on the island, and, you know, the complete elimination and eradication and destruction of this island, while in itself yeah, worthy of being called an incident, sure. There still needs to be something else. So Saturn has to get defeated or killed, or Kizaru's got to do something. Kuma's got to die. Because just the Straw Hats escaping isn't satisfying enough for me. Like, will they escape? Of course, they're the protagonists of the story, so they're going to get out. But what else is going to happen? And I think that as I have been feeling for a while, Egghead doesn't have much longer. We're not going to have one-on-ones. Like, the island is going to start destroying, and we need to get off of it. And it's going to have a similar vibe to the end of Ennie's Lobby, a similar vibe to the end of the Archipelago, where it's like, we just need to run. We need to get out of here. Like, it's Pyrrhic. It's not... There's no way to let this island survive. So it's get everybody together, get them onto the Sunny, and see if we can coup de burst out of here, or if Morgan's blimp can help us get out of here or something. Seb said no smoker yet. I'm I don't know. I'm ready to take an L on the smoker stuff. This should have been the arc for it, but Oda's got different plans. This is a wild thing that Derek Miles put in the chat. I think the person Vegapunk has been hiding on the island is who helped Luffy. A clone of his long-lost daughter, Ginny. Ginny had a male speech pattern just like the person Vegapunk asked for help. Ginny had the Vegapunk tongue. When? Ginny was incredibly smart. And Ginny would be 1 year older than Parasparrow. I don't get the connection to Parasparrow. All of that is wild. I don't think that it has anything to do with Ginny. But I do like the idea of the person that Vegapunk was talking to not being Stussy. That's kind of interesting to me. And that there is someone else on the island. But at this point, I think we're supposed to just understand that it's Stussy. What'll also help is when we get to that in the anime, which shouldn't be too far from now. I can't remember exactly what chapter that was, so... But I imagine sometime in the next 2 months we'll be able to hear the other voice on that line. It's like the VA blows it before we even find out. It's like it's Fujitora or Smoker's voice actor. Something crazy like that. Alejandro Salas said that Randy just hates Hawaii. No, I do not. I've never been. I like Sanji's Hawaiian shirt in Skypiea. I like his blue outfit better. The one he wears for Thanks for the Light is the better Skypiea outfit. But I don't care for the shorts. So I don't hate Hawaii. I hate shorts. And I also don't like Hawaiian shirts with hoods on them. I don't think that's the distinction. It's not. I hate Hawaii. Like I think it's blasphemy to have a hood on that. Shin said nobody's interested in the Buccaneers' secret power. Shin, what's your guess? You said you have a guess. I wanted Vegapunk to finish his sentence. He never did. And it's just like, I don't know. I mean, like, at this point, it's the power of love. I think Buccaneer's special power is freedom, the will to be free of anything's control. So that's interesting. So, like, Buccaneers are, like, immune to Conqueror's Hockey. They're immune to whatever Saturn is able to do, where they... whatever held Sanji and the other guys in place. Like, that's... I could buy that. But I don't see how that... I don't know. I don't know if there's the correlation here, but I mean, it's good thinking. I mean, you might be onto something. Tomato said, after this chapter, has anyone else started to believe in Whitebeard as a Buccaneer theory? I mean, people have been saying that anybody that is as tall as Kuma is a Buccaneer. So it's like, Big Mom's a Buccaneer. Whitebeard's a Buccaneer. Like, it might just be a thing where it's like, Buccaneers are, I don't know, crossbreeds between giants and humans or something. And instead of just calling them half giants, they're Buccaneers. Don't know. The Verth chapter is called SOS. Not only does Kuma hear Bonnie's SOS technically, but the chapter ends with a Buster call. The callbacks are wild, said Brandon. I mean, you're definitely Alright. Let's do something better. Let's see if there's actually some math piece here. What is there's a 1 in 52 chance here. Chapter 244. No, issue 40. So it's like a September issue. But that would have been crazy. Because then I would have said, what's he doing? Nah. Yokai Gatha said, everyone in One Piece is big. It can't be as simple as big person equals Buccaneer. Yeah, that's how I feel about it. And I think if Whitebeard and some of these other people are Buccaneers, then it loses what makes Kuma special, but it also really would be a great way to explain these taller people and justify them. Because it is kind of like a little bit of a plot hole, you know, not that it needs to be explained, but it's like, I don't know, why is Katakuri like 17 or 19 feet tall? Like, what does that matter? It's like I just feel like Oda does it to create a David versus Goliath idea every time Luffy fights someone, if they're just so much taller than he is. Alejandro Salas super chatted and said Saturn is Godzilla, and King Kong is Kuma or Luffy, so the end fight will be a kaiju fight while the military blows everything around them. That's kind of funny. Like, if Luffy goes giant mode and is like fighting Saturn as a giant. Well, I still need giant Luffy to step on him like a bug. You know, it's like I mean, I'd love if Luffy even spoke to it. Like, you want to talk about everybody like they're bugs? Well, squash. Like, that'd be awesome. And it would also be a great way for like us to believe that Saturn was dead. Like, he gets squashed by Luffy, the Buster Call blows everything up, but then, you know, like a Godzilla movie, we see him regenerating. And then, you know, he's part of the final battle at Marijoa. Like, he gets picked up from the rubble. Like, there's just that one little cell, that one little piece of Godzilla, and like he's able to come back from that. Or we learn that this version of Saturn, which we talked about before, is completely an astral projection from one of the ships, and that, you know, the summoning circle was the astral projection, and the real Saturn is legitimately still sitting on the warship. Old Green Knee said, do you think EG has defensive for Buster Call? Like Egghead? Do I think Egghead has defenses for the Buster Call? Vegapunk may have a shield that can help protect the island, but I don't think that we should be worried about anything protecting the island, because the narrative and the plot needs Egghead to get destroyed. So while Vegapunk, as smart as he is, should be able to stop some of this, the story needs Egghead to get destroyed so that we can move forward. So it kind of nerfs Vegapunk a little bit, but I don't think that we should be thinking about protecting the island as much as it is like stalling for time. Like, I think Vegapunk would be able to stall and and stop some of the cannons from hitting certain parts of the island or something, but then other parts are getting destroyed. Because if he's able to just put up a shield and the Buster Call isn't doing anything and they're just firing, like, oh, we got to break down the defenses, there's no tension there. Like, you want those cannons to be falling down, like, in front of Zoro while he's fighting Lucci and all this other stuff, and like the explosions are pushing them away while they're trying to fight people, and Usopp running for his life trying to make sure that he can get to the Sunny. You know, you need that kind of stuff. Catching up here. Weevil could be Buccaneer. Yeah. Especially if Newgate was, you know. I mean, somebody's gotta be. Like, he can't be the only one. And out of anybody, like, if it was Whitebeard, like, that would be actually kind of cool. Because it doesn't stop anything because he's already dead. And it goes to show, like, we already know how much of a beast Whitebeard was to begin with. Kipsa Seaway said -1 was really good. I literally finally just saw it on Thursday and I loved it. I loved Godzilla -1. I'd love to talk about it and like get into some of the spoilers there, but I'm sure there are people in the chat that haven't seen it. Alejandro brought up a good point. How does Saturn have scars if he can regenerate? And that's an argument for either possession. I think it would be kind of interesting if, like, and I just thought about this, but if these old dudes were on a hunt for, you know, the magical MacGuffin from so many points of stories and movies, the Fountain of Youth, right? So they had already lived their life up until the point of where they actually have their outer visage to begin with. And then they sold themselves to whatever demon or god has now taken over their bodies. So they still look the same and they carry whatever scars they had in their life. But now they've like ascended into this new ethereal realm or descended into, you know, a lower realm. And they can't fix what came before, but they can fix everything now. I could see something like that. Like if it was a situation where in the ancient history, where the ancient kingdom, you know, was this advanced nation, and then you had these old pirates or the, you know, this group of people that were jealous of what they had and, you know, coveted what they wanted, and then in order to gain the strength to take them down, gave up their humanity for eternal life, for wealth, for power. Use this evil power to take out the ancient kingdom, but, you know, they couldn't become younger, and the youngest member of their, you know, tribe or whatever is Jupiter, so you know, he just lucked out. You know, there's the tinfoil thoughts off the cuff based on what Alejandro was talking about there. Let's see. Caribou putting punk records in his body would be an amazing way to integrate him and Vegapunks into the story. Yeah, I think it's more that he legitimately has Luffy inside of his body right now, and he's making sure that Luffy is able to eat. I think that's what's going on right now. That's what makes the most sense to me. Chin said rate -1 movie, Randy. Oh, I gave it the full 5 stars. I loved it. Yeah. There's 2 things that I would change with the ending to make it better, but other than that, yeah. Barry said the island is surrounded by Marines, right? The island residents already get away. Yeah, Sentamaru, there was that chapter that started with Sentamaru, like, evacuating the island. So, somehow, Palpatine survived. Saturn ordered Doberman to sink the ships. Did they sink the ships, though? I do remember that, but did that happen? Derek Miles said Dragon just shows up to put flowers on graves. Yeah, we finish this arc, and then Dragon appears with flowers, and he just drops it on whatever's left of Egghead. Another incident missed. Greatest intel in the world, and I just couldn't get here in time. Not me, Chin. Not me. I will not be seated. Brandon said, Randy, I got a tinfoil idea I want you to hear. The egg gets destroyed, but Vegapunk had a mini egg just in case, and the Straw Hats get it. They put it on the ship, and it's a Rogers ship egg parallel. I love that. I do love that. Yeah. Dragon doesn't have the power of love, so he can't get to it. He's like Yasop. Love is a hurricane. That's right, baby Pluto. That's right. That's right. It is. Let's take another look through this chapter here. It's really fun to see the, like, that there is an inner struggle going on between, within Kizaru. But I love that, unlike what so many people wanted, it's actually what I wanted, and Kizaru is not turning, or at least not yet. So I want him to be evil, and him. If he turned, it kind of deflates Saturn and the rest of the Gorosei, because suddenly it's like, okay, well, we can defeat these guys because Kizaru believes in Luffy and thinks that we can win. But if Kizaru doesn't turn, what he is saying and what he is symbolizing here is that this guy behind me is way stronger than me. And he's way stronger than all of you. And I trust my chances of survival being on his side than I do on your side. And that's what we need for the tension and the stakes here. So this is good. Now, ultimately, could Kizaru, if he sees that Luffy's getting the upper hand on Saturn at one point, like, could he step in and sacrifice himself and, like, be something that helps them get away? Yeah. If he, we need that moment, but that moment's not now. But also Saturn's last line, those who have awakened an ancient god. Those is a word that really could be singular or plural, and I wish it was a little more specific, So it's like, are there more awakened gods here? Those who study the secrets of the world, It's mostly referring to Vegapunk, but I guess it could also work for Robin, which I need them to really remember that Robin is there. And I need Robin to get involved in all of this. Those who possess the blood of a lost people. So, we know that's referring specifically to Kuma. Should have brought Darker Shades as a dope line. This is just a really solid, great chapter. This is what we it's what we need. It's what we need. Adamus said Kizaru's that I left the Gucci shades at home. Yeah. Shinsei Kizaru did not kill any of the supernovas in Sabani, remember? Yeah, that's on Oda. That's not on Kizaru. Oda didn't kill them. I forgot that Kizaru's voice actor passed. Have we heard the replacement for Kizaru yet? Do we know the replacement? I forget how long ago it was. Did we have the old or new voice actor in film Red? It's Arthur said, I'm seeing Kizaru mirroring Aokiji and Ohara, where he will quietly help the Straw Hats escape and may need someone to help cover for him like what Garp did. Maybe. I think we could build towards something like that, but if that's the case, Kizaru needs to die. Like, if he's gonna help the Straw Hats, he can't move forward because he's too powerful. And we don't need another powerful ally on our side. We're already going to have a bunch. So it's either Kizaru is a bad guy to the end and becomes one of Zoro's final opponents, or he dies. He helps us and dies. Brandon King. So Robin hearing a third Buster call announced.
Oh shit. Here we go again.
That's definitely what it is. Cone Killer Confuser said, man, I'm so worried for Kazuki Yao. Frankie is sounding rougher and rougher each week. I kind of called that out when I was when I did the live watch through for 1089, and I was like, he does sound rough, and I love Kazuki Yao. He's one of my favorite voice actors in the series for sure. And it's so iconic. Like I don't even know. I don't even think I've ever heard a good impression of someone doing Kazuki Yao, whether that's Frankie or Mr. Two or anything. It's like I don't know. I hope everybody makes it to the end. Saeed, are you saying that Kizaru's new voice actor is Kaku's voice actor? So we're gonna have Kaku voicing Kaku and Kizaru in the same arc? Is that what you're saying? Miles said, hard disagree. Kizaru is a symbol for those who feel trapped by the day-to-day, a cog in the machine. He's a slave in his own right, and a turn makes thematic sense. I understand that it makes thematic sense, but that's why I also say, like, if he's going to make that turn and he's going to fully commit to it, he needs to die. Not that I necessarily want it, but I just don't think that the story can carry him through the rest of it. He's too broken. Like, he's not gonna join us in the battle against Marijoa. Like, he's in a turn, he's gonna make his stand. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be majestic, and he's going out with it. It's gotta be a sacrifice play. Jordan Vance said, Randy, do you think we'll get new sub and dub voice actors for the new One Piece series? And if so, anyone that you would want to do the voices? So when we got the teaser, it was Mayumi Tanaka like doing the voiceover. Now, she has expressed that she wants to retire. So, I mean, I feel like they're implying that the original voice actors are going to do it. I would like if the dub used like Iñaki and Kenyu and Taz and Emily and Jacob. Like, I think that would be really cool. You know, no offense to the Funimation guys and all of that. But if this, you know, if we're gonna do something completely new and it's like by Netflix, like take advantage of the cast that you already have, and I would love to see that. Shout out to Huckleberry for subscribing. Appreciate you. But as far as like the Japanese cast, you know, as many of them as we can get would be great. I didn't get to do a full rewatch of the live action with the Japanese dub. I still want to do that, but I was a little disappointed that they didn't get Arlong's voice actor. Like, that's one of the most iconic voices in One Piece to me. Like, it's like Arlong, you know, the crew, obviously, Crocodile, the original Whitebeard. Like, when I think of voices, then I'm just like, wow, this is One Piece. Flamingos, Bellamy's, like there's a lot of like really great voices that that stand out to me. So that sucked. Saeed said, fun fact, Gecko Moria and Jinbei have the same voice actor as well. He did both characters in Marineford when they fought. Yeah, I do know that. And that, like, that voice actor's got some range to be going from the, like, the rough Jinbei to yeah. And it was also pretty funny, you know, when you had Django and Mr. 2 in Alabasta, like, talking, you know, not to each other, but, like, reasonably close to each other, and it's all just Kazuki Yao. There's been other cases of it. It's not the only time it's happened. And Sanji's voice actor was also Karoo. So anytime it was Sanji and Karoo, that's... Yeah, Tom Ado just mentioned the Karoo thing. Brandon said, I think the scans did Saturn's lines better. Saturn said this island has been completely infested, which fits with the spider insect thing. Yeah, I mean, there's more color to that line. You know, the Viz is always very direct. But, you know, that's more badass. Barry said that impression just made my dog look up. He was very confused. Burrito pato! I want Moria to return so I can keep doing that impression. He did it again. Yeah, so for 11:05, with the way that it ends, I think we need to catch up with some other stuff. Now, whether that means that we leave Egghead and, you know, Oda updates us on some other stuff like the Revolutionary Army or Vivi, or I think Vivi in 2 chapters, because that'll be her birthday. You know, there's a good chance for that, and it would be the anniversary of 1074 where she appeared. But I mean, it could be, and then it would just be like in the, like, kind of in the pocket. But I actually think it'd be more like, let's look elsewhere on Egghead. Like, we don't know what Usopp, Nami, and Jinbei and Stussy and Robin are doing. Like, can we figure out what the rest of the players on the board are doing? So I think we need a little bit of a breather, a little bit of a catch up. How's Zoro versus Lucci going? Like, you know, we can come back to this in a moment. I think we need to see everybody reacting to the fact that the Buster Call has been announced. So it's just logically like, okay, the Buster Call is happening. You know, maybe some cannons are flying in, and then we get like some reactions of Usopp, you know, doing it, you know, Robin having that
Oh shit, here we go again.
moment. And are there any fights that are being set up? Did some of the vice admirals like catch up to the Straw Hats? Like, you know, could we get Robin versus Doll? Like, that'd be pretty cool. You know, Chopper versus the Otter guy. Because Stussy's a clone, could Bluegrass ride her? I don't know. Or ride Atlas. That would actually be kind of interesting. Or even Kuma. Which would, you know, then someone else has to step in and save Kuma. Could that be a thing where Bluegrass catches up with Atlas, starts riding Kuma, and then Robin attacks? No, it would have to be Usopp. Usopp, because Bluegrass is a chick. So then we get like like a little old girl versus a little old woman versus Usopp. That feels right. Robin versus Doll, but make it pay-per-view. Nami versus York would be pretty cool, but I mean, I feel like York is. I feel like Nami would low diff. Monsters is out. I feel like I want to do some sort of like a watch along of that. Not today, but yeah. Crying Sanji said Sanji versus Kizaru is happening. I actually would prefer if it was Frankie versus Kizaru at this point and Sanji versus Saturn. Or Sanji trying to hold off both of them at the same time until Luffy can get there. Zigzag said, I like to think the otter is down for good by Kuma. Did we get that? Is it implied that Kuma took out the otter, Vice Admiral? Because I'm okay with that, but I don't. I must have missed that or forgot. Jin said would love Robin versus Alpha, by the way. I mean, that'd be cool. I don't think that Alpha is bad anymore or anything like that, so it would have to be like Bluegrass riding Alpha. Mark said, I'm surprised Robin hasn't asked for a cigarette. This is the third Buster call she's experienced. Brandon said, imagine Emu just has Pika or Moria's voice. I desire Vivi! Pika, 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 da, da. I attacked Leloucia because it was close! Saeed said, yeah, there was a panel when Kuma was running an Egghead. He ran through what looked like the Sea Otter Vice Admiral and a Mark III Pacifista. Yeah, I definitely want to go back and look at that. Kip said it's not quite out yet, sometime today, though. Okay, that's good. So yeah, those are my general thoughts, and then I think that 1105 ends with like a double-page spread of Luffy inside Caribou's swamp area, just chowing down, almost ready to come out and like join the battle. Or maybe that's the end of 1106. After we've seen Sanji like kind of fight for a little bit. So maybe we still have another chapter of Luffy hidden. I'd actually like that more. Let's catch up with all the Straw Hats. Let's give them all something to do before... Let's not undercut the tension completely. Because that's what Oda did in 1044, 1045. 1043 to 1045. He didn't let the Straw Hats kind of breathe with Luffy being dead. Like, let's sit here. We know Luffy's gone. Those are my thoughts here. I've been doing a lot of work recently on the cross-scale Davy backfight video, which I know I've been teasing for basically a year, but it's kind of like, you know, I'd be working on other videos, then I go back to it, all that. That's gonna come out soon because it's I'm really close to being done with that. So I don't know if I'm going to do an analysis for this one. Might. I don't know. This might be the analysis. I got to figure it out. I don't have like a... I don't know if I have a theory angle on everything. Am I going to the Bandai event in LA? I just recently found out about it. And I went to see if there were tickets, and I couldn't figure it out. I think they're sold out. I think the button like didn't work because they're sold out, so I don't know. I don't think I'm actually going to be out that. Hey, Radical Alex. Miles said, who would have thought Caribou would be the DBZ time capsule while we're on Egghead? So, yeah. Yeah, there's no break, right? Let's see. Cool. Yeah, no break. So we'll be back here for 11:05 on Sunday. If I can finish Davy backfight, maybe I'll do a premiere this Friday. I don't. I'll wait and see. It's either that, or I'm gonna just hold on to the video until there's a break week. I don't know. I gotta decide. Figure things out, and then I'm working on and developing a new sort of video series that I'm really excited to like kind of dive into, but it's very research heavy, so it's, you know, those releases will be really sporadic. So, tell you guys more about that stuff when I really dive into it. Mari said the We Are and Memory Singers will be there. Yeah, I got to see last year Kidadani perform We Are live and Over the Top and We Go, and it was really awesome. But Maki being there to do Memories really made me like, okay, I really want to go, because I would love to hear that song live, because it's one of my favorite One Piece songs of all time. But I couldn't figure it out, so guess I'm gonna miss out on that one. Any reason they changed Bonnie's voice actor? I didn't hear anything about that, but I thought it sounded different. Does anybody know that? I actually would like to know that. Then I'm gonna end the stream. Well, I guess nobody knows about the voice actors thing. But put it in the Discord if we figure it out. Yep. And that's it, guys. I'm gonna run. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. For you know, we'll I'm gonna keep trying this method that I've been doing. I don't know if I'll do the blend of the reaction right into the live discussion. You know, maybe I'll keep a gap in between. But I'm testing it out. If it becomes too much, then I may start using the second channel for something from it. I'm still trying to figure it all out because I don't want the algorithm to punish me. Because it's like I still want to do the reaction and I want to do it the way that I'm doing it, but if it's not getting the views and it's hurting the channel otherwise, then the reaction may go to the second channel. We'll still do the live discussion here. But I wonder if it's like also content overload, because it's like the reaction is a separate video, the discussion is a separate video, the analysis is a separate video, and it's all on the chapter. And I want to still be able to put out content that isn't about chapters, like Cross Guild, like these other things and all that. And work has been crazy and life has been crazy. It's like trying to like just organize all of that and make it work. And I really want to, you know, build content for everybody, but I also don't want to overload and repeat myself on different things. I want to make sure that the content that I'm putting out is fun and cool. And there's just a lot of structure things, and I wish YouTube would just let me live. But I don't know. Sometimes it doesn't. Oh, thanks, Barry. And always, Chin. That's right on. Thanks, Radical Alex. YouTube TV in the attic. And that's it. Like, comment, subscribe if you are feeling the vibe. Appreciate all of you. Have a great rest of the weekend. Oh yeah, Monsters. We'll do that at some time. Maybe that'll be like a late night thing. Like just something random. Like, hey, I'm going to watch Monsters, and whoever shows up, shows up. Tomorrow, Tuesday? Maybe Tuesday. Maybe. I'm leaning towards that. Bye, guys.
I've been swimming deep, deep. Savage.